We find our first All-American at one of the halfback positions, Vic Janowitz of Ohio State. This 20-year-old, 5'9", 186-pounder hailed from Elyria, Ohio.
Vic, shown here with Coach Wes Fessler, is a real 60-minute player. 1950 found Janowitz monopolizing sports headlines from coast to coast because of his amazing versatility. He runs, passes, punts, calls signals, kicks off, handles the extra points, and plays safety on defense to perfection.
Let's watch him in action. It's the Iowa game. He takes the snap from center, sights his target, and literally takes to the air. Cursillo gathers it in. Another touchdown for the Buckeyes. Now another specialty as he goes back for a punt return. Takes it on his own 40, and he's off on a Janowitz journey, threading his way 61 yards down a broken field with the power and speed of a runaway express. It's a familiar scene for Ohio State rooters. Janowitz crossing the goal line. He gave a typical performance in this game. Besides running for 2 touchdowns, he passed for 4 more and kicked 8 extra points. Incidentally, 11 of his 13 kickoffs for the Buckeyes sent the pigskin tumbling into the end zone.
It's no wonder Janowitz has been described as a complete offensive platoon all by himself. Let's watch him add the extra point to this tally. As the teams line up, he goes back in position. He kicks, and his aim is as true as an arrow. Now we're in the Wisconsin game, and we're about to watch a demonstration of a typical All-America characteristic, the ability to fashion an offensive thrust on the split second. He's trying to pass, but the pack of Badgers won't let him get set. Okay, if he can't pass, he'll just switch into high, and when Janowitz gets going, it takes more than one man to bring him to earth.
And that's our spotlight on Vic Janowitz, a speedy juggernaut who will run over them when he can't run around them. See what I mean?
At center, another Buckeye, Bob McCullough of Ohio State.
McCullough's capable hands can snap the ball to a T quarterback or send it spiraling into a single wing. He's a master of each of the multiple Ohio State formations. Coach Wes Fessler himself, a former All-American, first noticed him in an All-Star high school game. Although at the time of his discovery he only weighed 159 pounds, Fessler said, "Come to Ohio State, we'll fatten you up."
They did a good job of it, too, because now Bob has 190 pounds on that 6 feet 1 inch body. The folks back in Urickville, Ohio, are mighty proud of his pigskin craftsmanship. This is McCullough's last year at the university, but it's the year that he's come into his own. At the beginning of the season, he was considered as another good Buckeye linesman. But game after game, he performed so magnificently that Wes Fessler finally described him as the finest player in Ohio State's outstanding offensive line. That's rare enthusiasm for a conservative coach like Fessler.
Here's what we mean. He snaps the ball, pulls out of the line, and throws a key block on the right-hand side of your screen. Now he pulls out to throw a brush block and then run interference. Let's freeze the action. There he is, number 52. Keeping a would-be tackler away from his ball handler. This is the kind of pass protection that made the Buckeyes so effective by the overhead route. So Ohio State contributes 2 stars to the 1950 All-America, center Bob McCullough and halfback Vic Janowitz. They made a tremendous pair. Witness the Illinois game when Bob, 52 at center, pulls out, blocks 2 men as Vic goes through and over for a touchdown. Janowitz and McCullough, 2 names of men that would add luster to any university.
Bye for the moment. Let's leave our All-Americans.
Howard Hopalong Cassidy, the Buckeye Bullet, bounces back for his second appearance on the Collier's All-America. 3rd in the nation in rushing, Cassidy beat out such strong contenders as John Arnett of Southern California, Bob Pascal of Duke, Ed Verub of Maryland, and Tommy McDonald of Oklahoma to return to the All-America lineup. Midwest coaches rate him the finest halfback since Tommy Harmon. As Coach Bernie Crimmins of Indiana says, Hopalong hits that tackle hold just right. The slightest opening, and he's on his way. Cassidy illustrates the point perfectly. Cassidy's forays through that tackle opening have been frequent and devastating. Here he goes again, all the way this time, on a 45-yard scoring scamper. Hopalong rides roughshod over all opposition. Once he gets the ball, it's pretty hard to stop Ohio State from getting a first down. There isn't much of an opening this time, but Cassidy streaks through, and before the defense can catch up with him, it's another first down. Inside or outside, when it's time to saddle and ride, Hopalong hauls the hoghide all the way on an Ohio State scoring play. When facing the Buckeyes, the prime assignment of a defensive alignment was to keep Cassidy from getting into the open, because once he did, he went all the way, whether it was 10 yards or 60. What makes Hopalong a true All-America is the fact that he seldom fails to gain, with or without blocking. On defense, Ohio State's Cassidy was just as potent. Watch him shake off a blocker to make a sure tackle against Iowa. On this play, the era points out Hopalong as he rides to the rescue, streaking across the end zone to break up a pass that looked like a sure score. This kind of play made him the Buckeyes' best ball hawk on pass defense. With Hopalong riding the range in the secondary, an opponent's pass was likely to become Buckeye property. If the ball was anywhere near him, Cassidy usually managed to come up with it. Howard Hopalong Cassidy, two-time All-America halfback from Ohio State, has also been named Maxwell Award winner as the nation's outstanding football player.
Buckeye boss man Woody Hayes depends on Ferguson to provide protection for the passer. Better protection couldn't be provided by a posse of Pinkerton police. Many critics describe the Ohio State offense as 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But when bulldozing Bob builds up a head of steam, it looks more like 60 yards in a swirling tornado. Presenting now, A Portrait of Power, starring Bob Ferguson. For an encore, our hero returns, cast in the role of Mr. Touchdown USA. He's All-America fullback from Ohio State University, Bob Ferguson. Versatile, hard-hitting guard Doug Van Horn of Ohio State is one All-American who made good in his own hometown, Columbus, Ohio. Coaches cited Van Horn in white jersey for his power blocks. At 6'2" and 236, Doug generated plenty of power. Van Horn moves out and nails his man. A perfect knockdown and a sizable gain for the Buckeyes. Rugged and durable, Van Horn also performed double duty at defensive tackle. Here he closes the gap and trips up the ball carrier. The team's middle guard is Jim Stillwagon, a 216-pound junior whose short tackling helped keep Ohio State tops in the country most of the season. Number 68 spent a lot of time in the enemy's backfield. Springtime on a college campus means different things to different people. To Coach Woody Hayes, it's the beginning of a long season.
It should be. Go! 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 That's what it should be right there.
You're not getting your yardage. We're coming up 3rd and 5. We're lucky we got by that time. But you just get that first down and we'll get the touchdown. Break.
Go, stay!
A player that Woody could look to with confidence was his second-year defensive back, Jack Tatum. Tatum did not disappoint him.
Get your feet moving. Drive. Keep feet moving. Okay, move your feet.
Hard!
Up it, moving. Drive, feet.
He's a splendid tackler. He's an excellent interceptor. He'll make plays that not another cornerman in the country will make. Jack Tatum could probably be a starting halfback for us, or maybe even a starting fullback. But, well, you take Southern Cal, who was a great team against us, number 2 in the nation. And yet against us, they did not run O.J. Simpson against Tatum. They ran away from Tatum all day. And they were running into the sideline because Tatum is the open side of the field. Now, I'm not in any way taking anything against O.J. Simpson because he's the best back we ever met. He's the best one. And that's, we've met a lot of great ones. And he's a great youngster, too, off the field. We were very impressed with him. But still, doggone it, he couldn't make a living running at Jack Tatum. And we don't think anybody else can.
Low. And that ball up, you're hitting the wrong field.
I think the way you get the best out of a football player is to tell him and everyone else how good he is, then make him live up to it.
There it is. Good shot. All right. That's it. That's what we want it right there. That's exactly what we want right there. You throw it big right now.
Faster than most offensive backs, Tatum is a vicious tackler. At 6 feet and 204 pounds, he was the leader of a rugged defense that allowed opponents little more than 1 touchdown a game. Ohio State's Jack Tatum symbolizes the drive and determination of the 1969 All-American defensive team. Tackle Dave Foley was one of the chief bulldozers as Ohio State rolled over everybody en route to the Rose Bowl. Foley was named to receive a Scholar Athlete Award from the Football Hall of Fame Foundation. He's an honor student in the College of Engineering. On the field, when you had to have a couple of yards, you went in behind number 70, Dave Foley, who shared. Teaming with Perdoni at a defensive tackle slot is Jim Stillwagon from Mount Vernon, Ohio, a 2-time All-America at Ohio State. Stillwagon has the ability to read a play, the quickness to get to the ball, and the strength to take care of the situation when he gets there. The battling Buckeyes are once again the Big Ten champs, with a key role played by Jim Stillwagon. Now, to watch a 2-time All-America in action, we visit Ohio State's homecoming celebration. When Buckeye coach Woody Hayes goes to work to devise a defensive game plan, he knows he can build it around one of the best players in America. Jack Tatum arrived at Ohio State as an all-state New Jersey high school fullback. But Woody found a new spot on defense for Tatum.
We had a lot of good football players the year he was to be a sophomore. And we feel at that corner position to the open side, you have to play a great athlete there. And we regarded him as perhaps the best athlete of all. but he has great quickness and great speed and great strength. He has the ability to hit. When he makes a little mistake, he recovers pretty fast.
Tatum, a senior from Passaic, New Jersey, says he agreed to change from offense to defense because he loves to hit. A rival coach says, if you catch a pass in his zone, you're going to get hurt. Tatum says Coach Woody Hayes has the skills to play any position on the team. In the 3 years that Jack Tatum has led the Ohio State defense, the Buckeyes have lost just one regular season game. Jack Tatum, All-America and All-Football Player.
Ohio State, the Buckeyes surprised the experts, upsetting Michigan for a share of the Big Ten title. Junior Randy Gradishar, number 53, was the spark plug of Coach Woody Hayes' aggressive defense. Woody Hayes has seen a lot of football players in 23 years at Ohio State, but nobody quite like All-America tackle John Hicks.
John Hicks is the best lineman we've had since I've been here. He does a great job against any man they ever put him against. He has great ability and great strength and great quickness for a man that weighs 250 pounds. But on top of this, he has a desire to excel, and that desire permeates the squad. He's as good a leader as we've ever had.
I can remember when I was just beginning to play football, I can remember reading about Ferguson and Warfield and those guys, you know, and then as I got older, you saw Shafrath and Houston, people like that coming into the pro ranks from Ohio State, and you just like to be a part of it.
John Hicks became a vital part of the Buckeyes' success and a part of the All-America offense. Repeat All-America, Randy Gradishar, maybe the best linebacker to come out of the Big Ten since Dick Butkus.
In high school, I always wanted to be an All-American, but I came from a small high school, and I was never chosen even for All-State, All-City, or anything. And when I came to Ohio State, this was my chance to prove myself. And it was one of my dreams, and one of my dreams was to go to the Rose Bowl, and one of my dreams this year was to be an All-American. And this is a big thing that a lot of people don't understand. They think that you get an All-American honor just for going out on Saturday afternoon and performing, but it's really not true. You go out there and you sweat, you get bumped, you hurt. It was just a great honor when I found out that I was chosen to be a Kodak All-American, and it's just an experience that every person does not get to have in their lifetime.
Buckeyes senior Randy Gradishar realized his dream and joins Wood of USC, Capone of LSU, and Schott of Oklahoma as the All-America linebackers. 10 runners are being shattered by a young man from Columbus, Ohio, Archie Griffin.
I try to break every play. I know that's impossible, but if you try to break every play, you might happen to find yourself out in daylight sometime, and it might work sometime. Well, I line up a little bit deep. I line up about 7 yards deep, mainly because I want to get a good read on the hole, read off the tackle's block, and I'll just run for the hole. I'll line and block, and I'll run. That's all I have to do is run. They open up the holes, so they make it kind of easy. When I get that touchdown, it's just like them getting the touchdown, too.
Archie makes my job an awful lot easier. On Archie's touchdown run yesterday, it was over my side, and I had a bad block, but he's just so quick that, he's by the guy before the guy realizes what's going on.
Coach Hayes, he talks about string of pearls. That's how many tackles you can break in. Like somebody try to tackle you and, they fall off, so that's one pearl. Next man try to tackle you, fall off, that's another pearl. String of pearls all the way down the line. If you get a string of pearls and get a touchdown.
Touchdowns mean Buckeye leaves at Ohio State, and Buckeye leaves mean success. Archie Griffin knows success. He's the Big Ten's all-time leading ground gainer. Probably Griffin's most amazing feat
was running for over 100 yards during 21 consecutive regular season games. No one in the history of college football ever was that consistent. The Buckeyes' favorite play is simply to give Archie the ball and let him find daylight. With another season ahead, Archie Griffin is on his way to becoming the sport's first major college runner to total 5,000 career yards. That's some running, giving Archie Griffin the 1974 Heisman Trophy as the top player in college football. Knows about Ohio State's explosive offense, but what makes the defense go? Try the name Tim Fox, a 21-year-old senior. Always coming up with the big play, Fox is a gridiron showman who says, "Wait a minute, number 41, I've got to do my somersault." Majoring in journalism, Fox is co-captain of the Buckeyes, who closed out a perfect year, won the regular season national championship, and returned for their 4th consecutive visit to the Rose Bowl. That's worth another flip. Ohio State's Tim Fox, rounding out the All-America defensive backfield. At Ohio State, there are many Archie Griffins. There's Archie the cheerleader, Archie the blocker, Archie the receiver, Archie the record breaker, Archie the battered, and Archie, the young man who Woody Hayes says is the most popular player ever at Ohio State. But the best-known Archie Griffin is Archie the runner, bursting into the defense, feigning one way and cutting another, waddling through the secondary with a style so unique his teammates call him Duckfoot, battering and accelerating all the way to 6 points. For Archie Mason Griffin, the climb to the top was not easy. In grade school, a chunky Griffin was put at middle guard and called Tank by his friends. A determined Archie trimmed down, and when no one wanted to play fullback at Columbus Eastmoor High, Archie volunteered. The rest is history. The first runner ever to gain over 5,000 career yards. 31 consecutive regular season games, over 100 yards. And the first player in the history of college football to win the Heisman Trophy 2 consecutive years.
Marcus Merik follows in the tradition of great Ohio State linebackers. As an honor student majoring in natural resources, Merik has not missed a game in 3 years for the Buckeyes and is the second leading tackler in team history. Once again, college football's top linebackers. Best, All-America cameramen fly thousands of miles every week and shoot millions of feet of film. A typical trip might take the cameraman to Columbus, Ohio to focus on the coach's choice at a defensive end spot. Bob Brodzinski, number 84. At 6'4", 230 pounds, Brodzinski has been rated by Woody Hayes among the greatest defensive linemen ever at Ohio State. While Ohio Stadium has seen many great blockers over the years, it has been host to none better than Chris Ward, according to veteran coach Woody Hayes.
We feel that Chris Ward is the best tackle in the country. We haven't seen any in any of our films that measure up to him. He's a great blocker on the running plays. He's great on pass protection, excellent footwork. He weighs 265 and is extremely agile. We've had great tackles here at Ohio State. There haven't been any that would rate any higher than Chris Ward.
This year, Ohio State boasted one of the finest linebackers in senior Tom Cousineau. Number 36 is the Buckeyes' all-time tackler, breaking his own record of 185 set 2 years ago as a sophomore.
Last year, Keith Byers proved he could carry a football. This year, he proved he could carry a team. Riding the tank-like thighs of number 41, Ohio State won a trip to the Rose Bowl for the first time in 4 years. And Keith Byers accounted for nearly 50% of the Buckeyes' offense.
Well, I feel that as Keith Byers goes, Ohio State goes, and most defenses, when they see me catch a pitch sweep, the whole defense is going to fly up there at me ready to make the hit. And I was just able, with the help of the good Lord, to surprise them and be able to throw the ball to Mike Lanisa, throw a touchdown pass, 35-yard touchdown pass. I was just the best pass I ever threw in my life, then the only one I ever threw in my life, matter of fact.
At 233 pounds, the big junior has caught more passes than any Ohio State runner ever and has led the Big Ten in rushing 2 consecutive seasons. As one lineman said, when you tackle Keith Byers, your IQ goes down. The son of a Baptist minister, Keith Byers lives with the creed that no one can stop him. Very few have, as Ohio State surged to the top of the Big Ten. Keith Byers joins Kenneth Davis, both underclassmen, both All-American.
Ohio State's Chris Spielman, number 36, who is only a junior, averaged more than 16 tackles a game in 1986, more than half of them solo tackles. Truly remarkable figures. His agility is remarkable too. Spielman had 4 interceptions during the season, more than his 3 All-American linebacking mates combined. He will be in the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Day, facing Texas A&M.
Ohio State's Chris Spielman was raised on football.
Being a coach's son and being brought up around a game all of my life has helped me understand football and listen and learn football. I had no other choice. I was at practices since I was 4, and I was always learning, always trying to understand the game, always trying to understand what my dad was trying to teach or what I was trying to accomplish out of the game. If you love the game as much as I do, you're going to play with enthusiasm, and you're going to play with intensity. I'm a leader by rah-rah, and anybody will tell you that, but I lead by example. I try to make the big play. I try to get the guys in the huddle. I try to get them up when they're down. I'm not going to sit there and wave a towel and lead cheers in the stands, but, you know, when it's time to play on the field, I'll be there, and they can count on me to make the play.
Soft-spoken, Chris Spielman turns from mild to wild when the hitting begins. The all-time tackle for loss leader in Buckeye history, Spielman has been honored as a 2-time Kodak All-American linebacker. Ohio State's Tom Tupa, a 4-year starter, is the punter on this year's team. Also quarterback for the Buckeyes, Tupa is the finest punter in Ohio State history and led all of college football with an average over 47 yards per kick. All-America on this year's squad, Steve Tovar of Ohio State has led his team in tackles 3 consecutive seasons. Coach John Cooper calls him one of the best all-round linebackers ever in the Big Ten. 2-time Kodak All-America, Steve Tovar of Ohio State. For 2 years, Ohio State linebacker Steve Tovar has been the Buckeyes' leading tackler. Tovar is like a missile fired at a runner, but also possesses the agility to steal a pass and return it 95 yards for a touchdown. A history major, Steve Tovar helped Ohio State gain a New Year's Day bowl berth with his all-round brilliant play. All-America linebackers, Steve Tovar. As Ohio State battled for Big Ten victories, sophomore Corey Stringer cleared a path for the powerful Buckeyes ground game. At 6'6", 310 pounds, he controlled the line of scrimmage with power and technique. A dominant Buckeye blocker, Corey Stringer of Ohio State. For the second consecutive season, Ohio State's Corey Stringer caught the attention of the coaches. A 315-pound junior, Stringer has been the lead blocker for a Buckeye team that finished second in the Big Ten and won a berth in the Citrus Bowl.